Hello my lovelies, it is time for round 48 of Have I Read It? So stay tuned. So if I sound funny to you, it's because I am currently very sick. And because I'm very sick, I'm not going to be searching for books. I'm just going to pull something off my shelf and use it as a like a tally mark, you know, use it to keep up with how many books I haven't read. If you're new here, Have I Read It is one of the multiple ways that I pick my TBR for the month. In this way, you get to help choose my TBR. So what I do is I go and I react to a haul from over 3 years ago, and I tell you if I've read the books, if I haven't read the books, if I've unhauled them. And for all the books that I haven't read and I still own, you get to vote on which book or books I will read in the upcoming month. So if I have 10 or less that I haven't read, then I'll pick the #1 voted book. If I have 11 to 20, I'll pick the top 2 voted books, and so on and so on. So today I'm going to be reacting to the haul, March and April book haul. This was posted on May 18th, 2019. So let me get this video ready. And wow, I look very different in this one compared to the last one I did. I apparently had an extreme makeover between the two. All right, let's get started. Hey guys, it's Melanie. Welcome to my channel. Today I have my March and April book haul for you, so stay tuned. So in March, I didn't really accumulate a whole lot of books because we were in the middle of moving and all of that. However, in April, I did accumulate quite a few. And so I thought I would just combine the 2 months. And I have 25 books here to show you, 10 of which are middle grade and 15 are, well, young adult and possibly some adult. I think there's young adult and adult in there. So I'll put a timestamp for the older books. I'm going to do the middle grade books first, and then I'll do the others after, and I'll put a timestamp. So if you want to skip to that, you can. It'll be down in the description. So here are the 10 middle grade books that we got in March and April. So the first book that I have here is one that we pre-ordered off of Amazon. Xander and I read the first book in this series and we really enjoyed it. So as soon as we finished that, we pre-ordered the second one. And it just came out. And that is Arusha and the Song of Death by Roshani Chokshi. I have not read that. And I really do like the Arusha series. So the first book is called Arusha and the End of Time. This one was book 2. So I've read book 1, but not book 2. And I gave book 1 4 stars. So I can tell you about book 1 because I don't want to say anything that might spoil for book 2 here. This says, 12-year-old Arusha has a tendency to stretch the truth in order to fit in at school. While her classmates are jetting off to family vacations in exotic locales, she'll be spending her autumn break at home in the Museum of Ancient Indian Art and Culture, waiting for her mom to return from her latest archaeological trip. Is it any wonder that Aru makes up stories about being royalty, traveling to Paris, and having a chauffeur? One day, 3 schoolmates show up at Aru's doorstep to catch her in a lie. They don't believe her claim that the museum's lamp of Bharata is cursed, and they dare Aru to prove it. Just a quick light, Aru thinks. Then she can get herself out of this mess and never ever fib again. But lighting the lamp has dire consequences. She unwittingly frees the sleeper, an ancient demon whose duty is to awaken the god of destruction. Her classmates and beloved mother are frozen in time, and it's up to Aru to save them. And that's all I'm going to read of that. So let me grab a book here. We're going to use this as a placeholder. That was the word I was looking for earlier. So if you want me to read this about Arusha, you just put Arusha. You don't have to do the whole title, but it's Arusha and the Song of Death.
All right, next up.
Okay, the other 9 middle grade books that I have here all came in Doodle Crate and Tinker Crate boxes for Xander. So they're all like either art or science related. So the first one is Our Story Begins. Your favorite authors and illustrators share fun, inspiring, and occasionally ridiculous things they wrote and drew as kids.
I still have this one, and I have not read it. So let me pull that up. This says, from award-winning author Eliza Brent Wiseman comes a collection of quirky, smart, and vulnerable childhood works by some of today's foremost children's authors and illustrators, revealing young talent, the storytellers they would one day become, and the creativity they inspire today. Everyone's story begins somewhere. For Linda Sue Park, it was a trip to the ocean, a brand new typewriter, and a little creative license. For Garrett J. Crossicott, it was a 3rd grade writing assignment that ignited a creative fire in a kid who liked to draw. For Conway Alexander, it was a loving poem composed for Mother's Day and perfected through draft after discarded draft. For others, it was a teacher, a parent, a beloved book, a word of encouragement. It was trying and failing and trying again. It was a love of words and pictures and stories. And yeah, so if you want me to read this, vote Our Story Begins. And let me stick a placeholder there for that one. All right, next up.
Next we have Artists and Their Pets, True Stories of Famous Artists and Their Animal Friends by Susie Hodge.
I'm pretty sure I've unhauled that one. So next.
Next we have The Red Pencil by Andrea Davis Pinkney.
I do believe I still have this one, and I have not read it. This says, finally Amira is 12, old enough to wear a tube, old enough for new responsibilities, and maybe old enough to go to school in Nyala. Amira's one true dream. But life in her peaceful Sudanese village is shattered when the Janjaweed arrive. The terrifying attackers ravage the town and unleash unspeakable horrors. After she loses nearly everything, Amira needs to dig deep within herself to find the strength to make the long journey on foot to safety at a refugee camp. Her days are tough at the camp until the gift of a simple red pencil opens her mind and all kinds of possibilities. So if you want me to read that, vote The Red Pencil. All right. Ooh. Next up.
Next we have Nick and Tesla's High Voltage Danger Lab.
That I have unhauled. Next.
Next we have Zentangle for Kids, the fun and easy way to create magical patterns.
Unhauled. Next.
Then we have STEM Quest, Tools, Robotics, and Gadgets Galore, packed with amazing techie facts and over 30 fun experiments.
Unhauled that one as well. Next.
Next we have The Emperor's Riddle by Kat Zhang.
I'm not sure about that one. Let me look it up. Okay, so I do believe that I still have The Emperor's Riddle. This says, Mia Chen is on what her mother calls a grand adventure. She's not sure what to make of this family trip to China and didn't want to leave her friends for the summer, but she's excited about the prospect of exploring with her Aunt Lynn, the only adult who truly understands her. Then Aunt Lynn disappears right after her old nemesis, a man named Ying, comes to visit. Mia knows that years ago when Aunt Lynn and Ying were sent to the Fuzhou countryside to work as laborers, the two searched for an ancient treasure together, one that still hasn't been found. She's suspicious that their shared history might be linked to Aunt Lynn's disappearance. When Mia discovers an old map filled with riddles in Aunt Lynn's room, she quickly pieces together her mission: find the treasure, find her aunt. Now Mia, along with her big brother Jake, must solve the clues to rescue the person she knows best in the world and maybe unearth a treasure greater than her wildest dreams. Alright, so let me put a placeholder here. So if you want me to read this, vote The Emperor's Riddle. Next up.
Next up we have Trash to Treasure Paper Making.
Unhauled. Next.
Next, another educational book, and this is the last of the middle grade. We have The Bacteria Book, The Big World of Really Tiny Microbes by Steve Mould.
I also unhauled that one. Next.
And now onto this giant stack of books that are for me. So the first one I have here is The Last Time I Lied by Riley Sagar.
I have read The Last Time I Lied. Next.
And that was a book that I got from Thrift Books. And another one that I got from Thrift Books is Please Ignore Vera Diets by A.S. King.
I did read and unhauled that one. Next.
Okay, another book from Thrift Books is Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Alir Sinise.
I read and unhauled that one. Next.
Sticking with the books that I got from Thrift Books, the next one is To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee.
I have read that one. Next.
Next up we have The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. Again, this was another book I got from Thrift Books.
I unhauled that edition because it was terrible. Not the book, but the condition of that book. And somebody else sent me a better one. All right, next.
And continuing with books from Thrift Books, we have Shadowhunters and Downworlders, a Mortal Instruments reader, edited by Cassandra Clare.
I don't think I ever actually read this one. So let me put a placeholder there. And this is a collection of YA authors writing about the Mortal Instruments series and its world. Several authors. So yeah, if you want me to read this, vote Shadowhunters and Downworlders. All right, next up.
Another book from Thrift Books. We have My Life After Now by Jessica Verdi.
I have read that one. Next.
Okay, the next Thrift Books book is Dark Matter by Blake Crouch.
I have not read Dark Matter, so let me put a book there. I know a lot of people love this book. Okay, so this says, Jason Dezen is walking home through the chilly Chicago streets one night, looking forward to a quiet evening in front of the fireplace with his wife, Daniela, and their son, Charlie, when his reality shatters. Are you happy with your life? Those are the last words Jason Dezen hears before the masked abductor knocks him unconscious. Before he awakens to find himself strapped to a gurney, surrounded by strangers in hazmat suits. Before a man Jason's never met smiles down at him and says, "Welcome back, my friend." In this world he's woken up to, Jason's life is not the one he knows. His wife is not his wife, his son was never born, and Jason is not an ordinary college physics professor, but a celebrated genius who has achieved something remarkable, something impossible. Is it this world or the other that's the dream? And even if the home he remembers is real, how can Jason possibly make it back to the family he loves? The answers lie in a journey more wondrous and horrifying than anything he could have imagined, one that will force him to confront the darkest parts of himself, even as he battles a terrifying, seemingly unbeatable foe. So if you want me to read this, vote Dark Matter. And did I put a book there? I can't remember if I put a book in this spot or not for that one, but if I didn't, then I'll just, add to the number in editing. But yeah. Okay, continuing on. Okay, and then the last of the Thrift Books books is Lies She Told by Kate Holohan. I'm not sure if I've read that one or not. Hold on. Okay, I don't think I've read this one. So Lies She Told says, Liza Cole, a once successful novelist whose career has seen better days, has 1 month to write the thriller that could land her back on the bestseller list. Meanwhile, she's struggling to start a family, but her husband is distracted by the disappearance of his best friend, Nick. As stresses weigh her down in her professional and personal lives, Liza escapes into writing the chilling exploits of her latest heroine, Beth. Beth, a new mother, suspects her husband is cheating on her while she's home caring for their newborn. Angry and betrayed, she aims to catch him in the act and make him pay for shattering the illusion of their perfect life. But before she realizes what she's doing, she's tossing the body of her husband's mistress into the East River. Then the lines between Liza's fiction and her reality eerily blur. Nick's body is dragged from the East River and Liza's husband is arrested for his murder. Before her deadline is up, Liza will have to face up to the truths about the people around her, including her own. If she doesn't, the end of her heroine story could be the end of her own. So let me put a book there for that one. So we're up to 7, possibly 8 if I've missed putting one up there. All right, next up.
Okay, next up I have 2 giveaways that I won. The first one was a giveaway hosted by Minotaur Books, and that's for Stone Mothers by Erin Kelly.
I feel like that's one that I may have read and unhauled. Let me check. Okay, that is one that I actually unhauled. I think I started reading it and DNF'd it and then unhauled it. All right, next up.
Okay, so this next book that I won was from another booktuber's giveaway, and that is Barbara Centini, and I'll make sure to link her channel down below. But I won, oh, this is a heavy book. It's An Arc of the Kingdom of Copper by S.A. Chakrabarty.
I unhauled that one. I killed that name though, that was terrible. All right, next up.
Okay, next are some books that I got in a subscription box. I believe these came in the Totally Booked crate. So the first one I have is Fire and Heist by Sarah Beth Durst.
I have not read that one, and I do believe I still have that. So this says, in Sky Hawkins' family, leading your first heist is a major milestone, even more so than learning to talk, walk, or do long division. It's a chance to gain power and acceptance within your family and within society. But stealing your first treasure can be complicated, especially when you're a Wyran, a human capable of turning into a dragon. Embarking on a life of crime is never easy, and Sky discovers secrets about her mother, who recently went missing, the real reason her boyfriend broke up with her, and a valuable jewel that could restore her family's wealth and rank in their community. With a hand-picked crew by her side, Sky knows she has everything she needs to complete her first heist, and get her boyfriend and her mother back in the process. But then she uncovers a dark truth about Were Dragon society, a truth more valuable and dangerous than gold or jewels could ever be. Alright, so let me put a little place marker there. Alright, we're getting close to the end. Next up.
Also in the Totally Book crate, we got Crown of Feathers by Nikki Powell-Petro.
I have not read Crown of Feathers, and I know a lot of people love that book. This says, I had a sister once. In a world ruled by fierce warrior queens, a grand empire was built on the backs of phoenix riders, legendary heroes who soar through the sky on wings of fire, until a war between 2 sisters ripped it all apart. I promised her the throne would not come between us. 16 years later, Veronica is a war orphan who dreams of becoming a phoenix rider from the stories of old. After a shocking betrayal from her controlling sister, Veronica strikes out alone to find the riders, even if it means disguising herself as a boy to join their ranks. But it is a fact of life that one must kill or be killed, rule or be ruled. Just as Veronica finally feels like she belongs, her sister turns up and reveals a tangled web of lies between them that will change everything. And meanwhile, the new empire has learned of the riders' return and intends to destroy them once and for all. Sometimes the title of queen is given, sometimes it must be taken. So if you want me to read this, vote Crown of Feathers. So we're at either 9 or 10, if I forgot to put one on. Okay. All right, next up.
Okay, so the last 2 books I have here are books that I got from Amazon. So the first one is a used book, and that is Where the Stars Still Shine by Trish Doller.
I'm not sure if I've read that one or not. I did read that one. Whew. Okay, next up.
And the last book here is probably the book I am most excited to read. That is The Red Scrolls of Magic by Cassandra Clare and Wesley Chu.
I have read The Red Scrolls of Magic, so yay. So even if I did miss that one, that would still only put me at 10 books, which means I only have to pick the #1 voted book. So comment down below which book or books you would like to vote for. You can vote for as many books as you like, but again, I'm only going to pick the #1 voted book. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a big thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos like this, click that subscribe button down below. And until next time, remember to always be completely you. Bye.